Welcome back, aliens. My name is Davin Reddy, and Java 24 is here. Now, basically, from last few years, every 6 months we are getting a new release of Java, and maybe that's what makes it less interesting every time you have a new version, and maybe that's why I'm not putting updates on every version. But the thing is, next version, which is Java 25, will be a LTS version, and all these features, which is piling up from last few years, will be coming together for LTS. Now, if you look at this page, which is Java 24, it got a lot of updates here. Now, if you're someone who is not keeping the updates from JDK, so basically till from Java 7, Java 8, Java 9, we got all these updates in years, right? And after Java 9, and if you open this page, you can see all these updates coming up in every 6 months. So they got this release cycle in 6 months now. And 24 is launched. They have not updated this page, so it's launched. 25 is coming in September, and that will be LTS. And I'm excited for the LTS version. The last LTS version is 21. So if you are building a project for your production, of course, you should use the LTS version, not all these features. Now, if you're learning and if you want to build a product as a pilot project or if you are testing it features, so these things you can test it out. Now, in 25, we got a lot of features, and few of these features are actually coming from 22, 23, 24. In fact, in 24, we got from 20 to 23, and as of second preview or the third preview or the fourth preview. So before they launch in the LTS version, they want to test it as a preview version to see your updates, to see your feedback and stuff. Now, in 24, as you can see, there are a list of updates, and we are not going to see all the updates. We'll focus on few. But then, in general, there are certain complaints when it comes to Java as a language. The one of the complaint is it is very verbose, and verbosity is actually a good thing. Now, if you're thinking, hey, how can it be a good thing? See, when you build a project, one of the most important thing in a project is not how fast you can build it. Of course, that's important, but also is it easy to maintain it? Because projects, when you build it, it takes years, let's say 1 or 2 years, but you have to maintain it for a decade. And if you are building a project which is not maintainable, it doesn't make any sense, right? So verbosity is actually good. But verbosity is not good for beginners, okay? Because let's say if I will show you that what I'm talking about, but they have solved that issue for beginners who want to learn the language Java and they're learning it for the first time. Then updates in the performance, because every time you load a Java application, because it runs on JVM, it takes some time for loading. Okay, now once it is loaded, of course it is faster, but the loading time is there. Now you will be saying, okay, once you load the application, we can use it. So who cares about the loading time? See, when you use a standalone software or one cloud service, it makes sense. But what if you are building microservices where you load and unload your services? In that case, you need speed. And yeah, so there are the languages which provide you that speed. We got C, C++, Go, Rust. They are fast. Okay, and but if you want to build enterprise application, Java makes sense. But the only thing is it's slow. Now they are making something. They are doing something from few years to make it faster. And there are certain things. Maybe I will make another video, separate video on this everything here. Next quick update is if you are using the 32-bit of Java, it will be not supported in future, so it's avoided. And there's one more thing regarding the memory access methods for the safety, which is security manager. In fact, it's there somewhere else. So they're talking about the security manager. Yeah, it's here. Permanently disable the security manager. When I started Java for the first time, it was Java 5, but then from Java 1, whenever you read books on Java, there's one section which talks about security manager, and I never went into it. Is because when I started building project, I never used it. Okay, and then I realized, okay, maybe I'm not using it, the industry is using it. Once I was exposed to the real-time project, even there, they were not using the security manager inbuilt in JDK. And I was thinking, okay, maybe this project. But then I realized hardly anyone uses security manager. And every time you want to use it, you have to enable it. And then every layer, so every time you want to secure something, if you want to access some secure resources, we have to work with multiple methods. And not just us as a developer, but the Java team who is doing all these commits or all these changes, even for them, when they make few changes, they have to check everything. And they decided if no one is using it, let's remove it. And that makes sense because for security, we use other tools and frameworks to achieve that. So that's one thing they have removed. And after discussing all those things, let's talk about the things which we're going to focus on. Now, why I'm not focusing on all is because mostly I want to focus on those features which will impact beginners And if you see these features in your any other project, you should know what is happening. Okay, let's talk about the easiest one first, which is the simple source files and instance method. Now, I will do it very quickly because I want to keep the video short. See, if you look at this Java code, and if you're a beginner or if you're learning Java for the first time, of course, every language, when you learn how to print hello world, right? And then in different languages like Python, or I mean, there are a few languages where you simply write one line of code and it works. In fact, in C as well, you basically create a main method by saying void main, and then you print with the help of printf, and it works. But in Java, if you want to print hello world, imagine you are learning this funny language for the first time. And then as a trainer, basically what we do is we first of all talk about classes, methods, then we talk about how do you print with the help of system.out.println. And as a beginner, you say, okay, let me just move to other language. I quit. Okay. And to simplify that, of course, in the real life, you will be using this syntax. But if you are someone who is just learning a language for the first time, if I want to do the same thing, I'll just comment it out. If I want to just do the same thing, what I will do is I will simply say, okay, it's giving me a suggestion. I want to avoid suggestions. I will say void main. That's how you create a place where you can start the execution. And then you can say system.out.println. But again, to teach someone system.out, it's tricky. So we can simply say print, and in fact, it's print ln on the new line. And then you can print hello world. Now the question is, will this work? Now, first of all, I want to hide all these hints. And you can see we got an error. It's because this is not a valid syntax. Even in Java 24 now, it's into preview version. Okay. So basically, if you want to write main, and if you just are starting with Java as a language, this syntax makes sense because this is where the execution starts and you are doing some activity. You're printing something. So printing hello world. But if you want to make this work, you have to make sure that you set the language level to 24 as a preview. Okay. Example, if you go to your, I will just use some shortcuts to open that. So if you open your project structure from the settings and from depending upon this different IDEs, you can set the language level. By default, it says SDK default, but you can just scroll down and you can select different versions here. So this is 24, but if you select the preview version, which allows you to do different stuff, if I say apply, okay, now you can see there's no error. There's a warning here. It says it's into preview version, maybe removed, but that's fine. I think they will not remove it. And let's run this, and yeah, you can see we got hello world. So this thing works. Now, this is how you simplify it. You might be thinking, hey, Java is object-oriented. Everything should be class and objects. Here, we're not doing that. How it is possible? See, as a developer, you are not writing class and stuff. But if you see the output of this, or if I want to decompile the class files, this is the main file which I'm working with. So if I click on this, okay, accept, this is the decompiled version of it. And as you can see, we have a class. There's a class. It's just that you are not creating it. And in this class, you have this method main, and it is using the package of IO. And if you go to IO, you will realize that IO was introduced in Java 23. Okay, it's new. Not very new in Java 24, but it's there from last 1 year. Okay, so that's about the first one. The second one I want to talk about is the switch. So basically, if you want to work with patterns in, like example, let's say if you want to compare values. Okay, let me just show you an example and we'll talk about it. So let's say after printing hello world, I want to print something. I want to print. Now, what I want to print is very simple stuff. Basically, let's say I have a error code. So if you work with networking, with the HTTP protocol, we have different status codes, right? So we got 100, 200, then we got 400 series where you have 401, 404, which is very famous, not found. So let's say if I pass a number here, so instead of printing a number, of course, in this scenario, it will print the number. And okay, I'll just move this here so that you can see the output on the same screen or same layout. So as you can see, it says 404, but I don't want to print the 404. I want to actually print the message. What does 404 means? So in this case, I can write a code. Of course, you can ask AI, but I don't want to do that here. Maybe I can write a prompt which will show different messages, but I'm not sure what the prompt will give me. So I already have a method with me. I will just copy paste here so that I will just save some time. And I know you know the syntax. So I'll just create a method here. And you can see I'm not putting that in a class because behind the scene, it will do it for me. So I'm just trying to keep it very simple. We got two methods. And this is a method which is get HTTP code description with if, because I'm going to use it. There's a if else layout here. So whatever code you pass, it will be checked. If it is 100, continue. If it is 200, okay. If it is 301, moved permanently. If it is, list goes on, right? So 404, 400, 500, then there's a series, right? Because if you say 400, it's bad request. But if I want to show 400, 1 till 500, whatever the range, in between whatever error code you get, I want to say that's a client error. Between 500 to 600, that's a server error. I think I got this code from the blog of JetBrains. I got multiple codes. I'm not sure from where I got it, but yeah, I think it's from JetBrains. Anyway, so I can simply call this method with HTTP code, and I will mention the error code, which is 404. So it should print client error, and we got it. So that's a client error. There is one problem with this code. Of course, it works, and we know if it works, don't touch. But I will just want to refactor it. So in refactoring, what I want is, instead of using if else, I want to use some. It should be much more readable and concise. The way you can do that is with the help of switch. Okay. So in fact, I can ask my AI assistants to change. I will just paste the code there, and I will say, change it to switch. Of course, it will do that. AI is smart nowadays. I'm not sure if I've actually logged in to this AI, but yeah, I got the response. So this is the switch which they have given us, and I will just paste this somewhere here down. And this is with switch. So in the earlier we had if else, now this switch. Now, of course, in switch, normally whenever you have a condition, like we are matching it with 100, so that's continue, 200, okay. So here, same way, right? So if it is matching with 100, continue, 200, okay, and this syntax works. Now, this is a default switch scenario. It's not the switch with expression or the new way of doing switch in Java. To know more, I will put a link in description. How do you work with switch in the latest Java version? But I want to modify this. But if you look at default, in the default, we don't have expressions. As you can see, we have if else again. Is because you can't put patterns in switch. Okay, so it is not allowed. And that's why we have to use if else here. But Java 24 says, hey, you can do that now. So let me just replace this with a new code. And I have a code with me, so we can save some time. Let me just get the new code. I think I've copied the extra colon. Okay. Okay, now this is a new syntax in switch. So you can see, instead of using colon, we can directly put arrow, and you don't have to put a break at the end. Normally in switch case, we do that. And if you see the output from the AI, okay, we are using return here. That works. I think this is a new one. We're using return. I forgot there's a return there. Anyway, this is the older one, right? Default. So instead of using default, we can actually put a range here. So as you can see, we have a range. So whatever value you get in the code, basically that goes into this I variable. And then we check if I is this and then this, then you put a message there. So this is much more simplified. So you don't have to put default in this way. So this thing works. Now this is a new thing. So this is the pattern matching in switch. In fact, there's one more changes with the pattern matching. Basically, you can also use instance of. Now, if you have used instance of before, basically we do that for the object checking. So this particular reference variable belongs to which object, and you compare them, and then you do certain activities based on that. But if you in Java 24, basically we got this feature where you can use instance of with primitive types. And the reason they are making these changes, all these changes is to get into the AI race, is because when you want to do AI computation, basically you do a lot of checkings, right? And this syntax looks good there instead of using if else. Same goes for the instance of. So those are the changes we have here. Now, one more change I want to show you is if I go back to my browser. So we have talked about simple source file. We have talked about pattern matching in switch, this one. Let me focus now on the flexible constructor bodies. Now this is available in a third preview. So I'm expecting in LTS version, it will be there. And the name was different when it was introduced for the first time. So you can see it had a different title. And now they have, again, this is on third preview. So what this talks about, and this is interesting, so just be with me, and maybe I should create a new file. So that's constructor demo, which I'm creating now. And in this, I want to do certain things, and I'll just copy paste the code so that I can show you something. So let's say I got this code here, which is we have a super class in which you have a constructor super, and then we have a subclass which extends super. And inside this method or inside this class sub, we have a method called show in which we are printing welcome to Telusko. Simple stuff, right? And of course, we need a main method to run this. I will just get main here. And I will create the object of sub. I will call the show method. Of course, nothing should go wrong, right? And I can just run this. Okay, it will run the earlier code. Let me run the new code. And you can see it says welcome to Telusko. That works. But let me just add some twist here. So the twist is very simple. Let's say from this super, I'm going to call this show method. And of course, you will say this will not work, of course, because super has no idea what this show is. Now, in this scenario, I will just create this show method inside this super as well. I'll just copy that and paste it here. Instead of welcome to Telusko, I will just print hello world. And maybe I should make a separate video on this explaining step by step, but let's see. I will just recreate the video. What's wrong? So let's say we have this 2 here. And now, what should be the output? Of course, it should print welcome to Telusko is because the object is of subclass. And why it's printing 2 times is because I'm calling show. I'm calling show. Okay, so I will not be calling show from here now. Okay, so I'm not calling show here. So it should call that, right? So what happens is, now you might be thinking how it is calling the subclass. So the object is of subclass. And when you execute this, basically it will call the constructor of this subclass. Of course, right? Object is getting created. And by default, the constructor of a subclass calls the constructor of a superclass. So when you have a constructor, it's there. We are not defining it, but let me define that. So whatever you do, basically by default, there's a method called super here, which will call the superclass constructor and it will call show. Now, show will be called of a subclass is because the object is of subclass. That's how polymorphism works. And nothing changed, still work. The change which I want to make here is very simple. So I will say string name and I will just keep it empty here. And then, of course, I should define the name. I will say name is Naveen. Okay. And then here, I want to print name. So nothing major, right? We just got a constructor, which is where we are saying name is equal to Naveen. And we got a string name here. So this should work. It should print welcome to Telusko Naveen. And if I run this, we got null. That's weird. Why we got null? We are assigning a name here, right? Okay, the problem here is actually, see, let's go in a sequence now. When you create the object of sub, it will call the constructor of sub, right? And then by default in Java, whenever you call the constructor of subclass, the first line is super. Even if you don't mention that, it is super. Okay. So that's like a John Cena. It's there. You can't say it. Okay. Even if you don't mention it, it's there. And this will call the constructor of a superclass. The constructor of a superclass is calling show. Okay. So what it will do, it says, okay, it is calling show. That means first I have to complete the execution of show. So it goes here, it prints welcome to Telusko, but name is still null because this line never got executed. That's tricky. I mean, it got executed, but after this line. And that's the problem we have here. Now, what's the solution? The solution is very simple. You take this, cut, and put that before super. Now, what will happen is, before calling the constructor of a superclass, we are assigning a value to name variable. Then when it calls the show method, it will print name. Let's run this and solved. And now you might be saying, okay, it works, then what's the issue? It works only in the preview version. Okay, so let me show you. If I change my version to, let's say, 22 here, and if I click on apply, okay, you can see this breaks. It says cannot refer to the name before the constructor or superclass constructor is called. So basically, you can't put anything before the superclass or the super method here. Okay, that's the thing. Call to super must be the first statement in the constructor body. And this solved. I think in 23, it was there. Let's see. In 23 preview version, yeah, it's there. So it was introduced in the preview version, and you can also use it in 24. So this is a third preview. Those are the updates. In fact, there are a lot of updates. Maybe I will try to make more videos. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And if you like the video, hit the like button, do subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.